Today we've decided to head to Chance Bay to spend a weekend off-grid searching for the hidden lagoon-like swimming hole, which we soon discover is only accessible by paddle at high tide. We have heard about this river from multiple sources but have never seen it ourselves.
Welcome to Chance Bay in the Marlborough Sounds. Chance Bay is in the Nydia arm of the Marlborough Sound and is a wonderful spot to come, stay on anchor, off-grid, no cell phone coverage and peace and quiet. So anchoring here is quite tricky. If you anchor down on the western side of the bay, there's a river that pumps a whole lot of very fine silt out, so it is very, very unstable. And a lot of people that have talked to us about anchoring here, your anchor wanders over that side. However, where we are now on the eastern side of the bay is thick, sticky, compacted mud. So the holding is fantastic. We came in here with about a 20 knot sail easterly. The headland gave us protection, kept us out of the wind. We've stayed here in northerly winds as well. The holding is really excellent and the protection from most weather or wind is fantastic, except for southwesterlies, which hardly happen in the Sounds. So this is a top-notch place. However, a couple of things that we've noticed on this trip, it is summertime, we lose the sun a couple of hours earlier than the other side of the bay, and in the morning the sun doesn't get here for about an hour or so when the other side of the bay gets it.
Some people feel that Chance Bay gives the best shelter in the whole of the Marlborough Sounds. So let's get down the kayaks. It might not be high tide, but we're ready to go and explore.
Off we go on a grand adventure. We are going Indiana Jones style up a river into the deep, dark jungles of New Zealand. You excited, boys?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've been told by quite a few people about this river. Now, we've come into Chance Bay a couple of times in the winter and haven't really been that keen on getting the sit on top kayaks down to sit on top and paddle our way in 12 or 13 degrees Celsius water to then enter a freezing cold mountain stream in winter time. So this is the first time we've been in here in summer, so we thought we'd take the opportunity to go and explore. However, us three in the dinghy are a lot slower than all of those people. You've left us for dust. So one of the things you'll notice about Chance Bay and Nydia Bay in general is there is quite a huge tidal difference from high to low tide of about 4 meters. So when you look to the land, you can see where the high tide mark is. And we're about mid-tide at the moment, so you have to be quite careful where you anchor and you have to take into account that tidal difference, because some bits of this end of the bay are only 3-4 meters deep. So when you get a 4 meter tidal difference, that's not a lot of room under your boat, especially if you draw 1.5 meters like we do.
We're far away from the boat, but closer to the beach now.
So we've discovered straight away that this is a high tide activity, not a low tide activity, because we've had to abandon the boats early on in the piece. So, found the river.
Fishy, fishy tongue.
So as we can see, this is maybe not a middle of summertime activity at low tide, maybe high tide and a little bit more water. I can't imagine us paddling up and down this river.
Feels like I'm squeezing out my face flannel. Yeah, nice.
After spending a decent amount of time playing with the freshwater green hair-like algae, we continue to make our way upstream. As soon as we got out of the full sun, the algae disappeared and the water was cold and crystal clear. About 10 minutes walk upstream, we came to the much talked about swimming hole, surrounded by native bush with only the sounds of cicadas and fantails. Until we arrived, of course.
So we're walking up a river we've found in Chance Bay in Marlborough Sounds in New Zealand, and it looks like something out of Jurassic Park. It's so untouched and beautiful. We can actually walk right up the stream. It's a little bit slippery in places, but the dog can do it, so so can you.
So what bird is that, Maya? So otherwise known as the New Zealand fantail.
Fantails are such curious and friendly birds. They follow people on trails because we're disturbing the insects, making them visible. Often you can hold out a stick and they'll land on it. Realising we could keep walking up this river all day, we looked at the time and decided to start making our way back. But not before one last swim.
If we came to the morning level there, that would be awesome. Because then we would see deer and all kinds of things and good stuff.
Very cold too, the water. But worth it.
Pretty cool place to explore, isn't it?
Keen to come back again tomorrow, we decided to try again at high tide.
We just left the boat and then Maya just came back with Shiloh.
It's high tide, so we're going to go and have a look and see if this river is able to be kayaked up.
Where are we going, Sophia?
Up the river.
And sure enough, we were able to paddle all the way up to the swimming hole. It was much deeper at high tide, but we didn't stop to swim as we were set to leave. One of the best things about exploring in New Zealand is that nothing can eat you, except maybe sandflies. There are no predators on the land or in rivers that are a danger to humans, no snakes, crocodiles, spiders or animals that can kill you, so you can feel relatively safe. And after not too long, we actually got called back to the boat. David had moved the boat closer to the river, dropped anchor and immediately dragged, so the engines were back on and it was time to head away.